Okay, so here we are. We now have endangered red wolves back in the wild within a 5-county recovery area in northeastern North Carolina, in Beaufort, Dare, Hyde, Terrell, and Washington counties. What is this area like? What are the people like? What is the environment like?
I spend a lot of time down in that part of the state. It's one of my favorite parts of North Carolina. This is really one of the last wild corners on the east coast of the United States. We've got wildlife refuges and abundance of wildlife. There's a very vital farming community. It's primarily agricultural based. It's a harmonized landscape that is just exceptional.
There's so many bears, so many deer, turkey, bobcats, so many bobcats, and the wolves are out there. It's just an amazing place. In the winter you have the tundra swans and the snow geese. People need to know that this is a wildlife paradise.
Back in 2011, when I first started this project, I saw a quote in a newspaper from the owner of a small business in Hyde County. So I found his phone number, I called him, and I got in my car to head down there. I had no idea what I would find. I had no idea what I'd see, what I'd hear. I didn't even know the person that I was supposed to go visit. I lost my cell phone signal well before I got there. So I just watched intently around me to get a feel for the place. With the road and the drainage ditches as my guide, I drove past family farms, large industrial agricultural fields, woods, and lakes, large open spaces under the Carolina blue sky. It's beautiful out here, but where are we?
Can you just tell me who you are, where you're from, and a little bit about yourself?
Yes, Jeff. My name's Dennis Benston, and I'm a resident of Hyde County, and I live in Englehart, North Carolina. I've been living here most of my life except for 4 years, so Hyde County is my home.
This is Dennis Benston, a hunter and businessman in Hyde County. Before Dennis continues, though, let me tell you a little bit about my experience with people in the 5-county recovery area. When I first went down there in 2011, they were wary of me, to say the least. They don't trust journalists because they feel like they've never been provided the depth into their reasoning that they deserve. But Dennis allowed me to record audio the first time I met him, when he invited me into his home.
How long has your family been here?
Well, back 2 generations or so, my grandparents left this family farm, this property to our family, and I live here on the old home place, and I built a log cabin here at the home site.
It's a fairly tight-knit community. Everybody knows everybody. I grew up in Fairfield, North Carolina, and I've lived here all my life, basically. This county is the 3 2s. When I go somewhere and somebody says, "Where are you from?" I say Hyde County, the 3 2s, because they remember the 3 2s. It's the second largest by total area. It's the second least populous, and it's the second poorest as his income.
He's referring to rankings of counties within the state of North Carolina. While Hyde County is not number 2 in all of those categories anymore, it still provides a pretty good picture of one of the counties in the Red Wolf recovery area.
Typically, I think most anybody here, if you really had a need and you asked them, they would come forth to try to help you.
Dennis and Jamin give you a great sense for the folks who live out here. You can already see that many of them spent their whole lives or most of their lives here.
I'm Charles Sears from Fairfield, North Carolina. I've been born and raised here since 1956. I'm 55 years old. I done hit the speed limit. And lived on this farm since I was 4 years old. And in Hyde County for 55 years, born and raised.
That's Charles. Dennis introduced me to him at the ammo shack the first time I went down there in 2011. Charles was getting his gun fix at the time.
Here he goes with that camera again. See, I'm glad you're chauffeuring him today.
That's all I've heard this morning.
Oh yeah. My goodness.
I have some woods land like 15 miles from here that working on little bit by little bit. We do some deer hunting and bear hunting and stuff on it.
There are still a lot of woods in swampy northeastern North Carolina. In fact, a lot of them are some of the thickest woods I've ever walked through. They provide a home for a lot of animals.
We gotta go over that log. There's a spot over here, that path, it gets kind of thick. Looks promising, but I'm just gonna crawl through it.
That's Art Beyer, a red wolf biologist with the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service. Here he's describing the woods and untouched land they have to go through to find red wolf pup dens.
I don't see any dens, puppies. This wood is slick. Some moss on it. Ticks. Yeah, I probably got them all over. Probably all do. Hitting briars. Oh, it's supposed to be easier than this.
In upcoming episodes, we'll join biologists as they look for red wolves in the wild, accompany hunters in search of deer for food, and we'll even get to meet some of the red wolves themselves.